Welcome to episode 4 of Meeting of the Minds podcast with Peter Sudol and Tolga Erzim. Good morning, Tolga. How are we doing?
Good morning, Peter. Doing great.
On today's episode, we're going to discuss tips to sell your home in this hot market.
Excellent. Yep. And, just so our audience knows, we do various types of episodes. And today's episode, we're hoping for it to be a little more informative and educational for our sellers, unlike some of our other episodes, which are more lifestyle episodes. So hope you find this interesting. It's something that me and Peter are very experienced and knowledgeable with. And we hope to just give some good information out there.
Good content.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's just jump right into it, Tolga.
Yeah.
Again, we're Sussex County. Market's on fire. We just started in the beginning of August. And let's start with a couple of tips to help people that are considering putting their home on the market.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sellers.
What should they do, right? So let's think about low-hanging fruit, Peter. Let's think, what are some right off the bat easy things to increase the sellability of a home for a seller?
Right out the gate, you have to have a clean home. More importantly, declutter and depersonalize your home as the run up to your listing and putting it on the market. You want to make sure that you're painting a clean slate for any potential buyers of your property. So it's very important to minimize any kind of personalization. Simple things as just, again, cleaning up, putting things in their place. Everything should have their place. And you almost like the same kind of vibe that you get when you walk into a really posh hotel. Like, you want to feel welcomed, but at the same time, it's your place.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the big factors on why depersonalizing is so important, and sometimes this is hard for our sellers, right? Because they're attached to their personal belongings. They're attached, they have an identity, they have a style, and they might not necessarily view it as problematic, right, for their stuff to be up. But the reality is, if the more of your stuff is up and the more style you exude, right, unless we're going with that custom look, custom built home, custom style, if it's a more common home, a more neutral style home, and you have a lot of your style and personal objects up, it makes it very difficult for that potential buyer to walk into the house or see pictures of the house and envision them in that house or their stuff in that house. So decluttering, depersonalizing, so important. I mean, that's like step one. Any good agent should be telling you right off the bat, hey, we got to declutter, and it's okay if you hide things in the closet. It's not that, hey, you got to go sell all of your items on Facebook Marketplace or anything like that. It's just for the presentation, right? Yeah. For the potential buyer to experience the home. You don't need to get rid of your stuff. We're not telling you to, depersonalize your entire belongings. So
yeah, it is a fine line with certain clients. If you have a home that's maybe like a new construction versus somebody it's a second home, but
or been there for 20 years,
Yes, where styles, and that's a good segue into styles. Certain things that might not be current and might make your property look dated.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. Carpets. Let me just say it, for example, like in the 60s and 70s, shag rug carpets were all the jazz, but today you want to have, hardwood floors.
Yeah. The trends and the styles of today are very important. And depending on, how much money, right? A good agent also will talk about bang for your buck, right? Is it worth painting? Is it worth ripping up your carpets? Is it worth certain items to help you sell your house? That's when you have a good partnership with an agent and you trust them and they're experienced, they'll tell you like, hey, do XYZ. Don't worry about, ABC, because ABC might not get you that return, right? You might put, multiple thousands of dollars in something that you think is going to bring you that money back, but it's not. So, especially when you're trying to sell your house, the goal is to get the sellers as much money as possible. So, anything, there's so much little items that you can do as a homeowner that will just skyrocket your sellability. And we're talking about small ones, right? Paints, right? Just color.
Fresh coat of paint,
Man, it does worlds. Me and Peter walk into houses every day, multiple times a day, right? We walk in with buyers, and we walk into sellers' homes. We have a lot of experience in seeing the reactions of buyers in a house that doesn't have a fresh coat of paint or has, fuchsia colors in the bedrooms and stuff. And neutral colors go such a long way.
And it could literally mean a matter of, thousands of dollars in terms of what, your property can return on, just like a fresh coat of paint,
or selling the house. I mean, it still baffles me, and I try to educate my buyers on this, that even if you love if the house is a perfect location, all that, I try to groom them to look past these small imperfections that they can do, but many of them can't. So as the seller, if you can take that away from them to have them try to envision this house with a fresh coat of white paint, you're just opening up that population of people you can sell to, instead of pigeonholing yourself to people that can only see the vision of what the potential of the property can be.
Correct.
So, very important. So decluttering, depersonalizing, neutral colors, right? A fresh coat of paint. Peter, something I know you're big on is curb appeal.
Yes.
That's something that I've seen you groom your sellers to get the maximum return on curb appeal. Now that's a fine line, right? You don't want to go crazy with the landscaping because that can cost a lot of money, but small things.
Or you might find yourself actually doing the landscape. This guy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So curb appeal is essential. It's like a first impression. First impressions are lasting impressions.
So important.
if you have a buyer pulling up to your home and maybe the lawn's not cut, it just looks a little tired, they're not even going to get out of the car.
No, you could have the most beautiful house in the world on the inside, and if you just didn't cut the grass, it's like bad taste in the mouth off the bat. And sometimes they don't even want to get out of the car. So small things. And again, you can do this as a homeowner. I mean, granted, you're an able and willing body. Cutting the grass, trimming the bushes, shaping some things, making sure the driveway is swept. Man, it goes such a long way. They seem minuscule, but it's so important.
Another impression. So if putting yourself into somebody that's buying a home, as soon as they walk into that door, if they're smelling, again, it's such a little detail, but it's very important. Like, if you walk into a home and all of a sudden you smell like, wait a minute, it doesn't smell so fresh in here.
Yeah. And not only about bad smells, right? And sometimes we don't know, like if you're living in the house, like we're not saying like the house might smell horrible, but to you might not even notice it, but to somebody else that walks in for the first time, they might notice it. And not only bad smells, any smells. I mean, sometimes, sellers homeowners like the smell of, some type of incense or perfume or air freshener. Just because you like it doesn't mean other people like it. So smells in general, you want to stay neutral along with that too, very important smells. And just also like along with that kind of cleanliness thread is pets and pet items.
Yes.
That's a big one. Of course, everybody should love dogs. Me and Peter are huge dog lovers. So we have no problems walking the house with the actual pets being there or with their possessions being there. But not everybody does love pets. And even if they do love pets, they don't necessarily want to see your dog's items all over the place. Right. Their dirty dog bowl sitting there, things like that. So you really got to try and hide the pet stuff, when you're showing the place and taking pictures of the place. So
you want to have the biggest audience possible. That's why I like to look at it is depersonalize, declutter. You want to attract the biggest pool of buyers out there when you're selling a home.
That's what our goals. Like when me and Peter are selling a house, our goal is to get as many people to see that house as possible, you know, and it starts with the pictures, and it starts with the virtual tours, and it starts with all that. And then that's our goal. If we can get as many people to your door as possible, you're going to have the most amount of options when it comes to offers. You're going to have the most possibility for a high return on your property. Right. So neutral and that minimalist look. If you don't know what that means, Google minimalism, take a look at what it's about. You'll notice clean countertops, not a lot of things on the walls. That is what's selling right now. As much as you love all your tchotchkes and your art and stuff like that, you're going to limit your pool of people that want to see that house. So
a lot of people want turnkey. A lot of clients today, if they're feeling that, you know, a lot of buyers feel that they're paying top dollar, they want a turnkey. Turnkey home.
And again, the seller could think, oh, this is turnkey, Peter, right? Like everything is good. I had no issues with anything. Like, you know, the structure is good. The bones of the house are good. But to a buyer that comes in and says, man, I want all the walls white or gray, and I need to fix up, you know, X, Y, and Z, then it's not turnkey to them, they feel like, right? So
they got to go do work as soon as they move in. That's their feeling.
Right. So turnkey is not just that the electrical and the plumbing and the roof is good. It's all these subtle things, right? It's the little things. And this will segue into another thing that I always kind of talk to my sellers about. Anything that when we're showing a home or a buyer's walking through a home and they could physically touch, and now they shouldn't be going around touching all your items, but they will be touching handles and doorknobs, right? A small, again, low-hanging fruit thing that you can do as a seller is to make sure anything that's going to be physically interacted with is working properly. The doorknobs are not loose and jangling, right? Oh, that's not an expensive fix, right? You think, oh, that's nothing. That's no problem. The door doesn't close that well. Oh, that's no problem.
But these are immediate turn-off points.
Right.
Immediately, because think about it as, put yourself in a position as a buyer. You're looking and everything is heightened. Not, you know, as it normally, you know, you're hypersensitive to, and you're inspecting and thinking and trying to envision yourself at this property.
Yeah. Analyzing on the fly. And that's what they're interacting with, is the things that they're touching, right? They're not necessarily going on the roof and touching the shingles and seeing how brittle they are, right? But they're touching the door handles. So if they see all the door handles messed up, they might think, well, what else is messed up with this house that I haven't got a chance to interact with yet, right? So that's a big thing. All right, Peter, now, so those are some low-hanging fruits. Of course, there are a ton of other things that we coach and partner with our sellers to do, right? I mean, and that's what, again, a good agent will determine. It's a case-by-case scenario, right? And Peter, I know you have this wonderful way of trying to identify these attributes of a house that are these strong selling points. And what do you do when you go to a house? Like, what do you try to find out about the house to sell it best?
Well, first off, asking, you know, the seller, what was it about this property that made you buy this property? What is it that you fell in love with?
Yeah, even 20 years ago, right?
Yeah. Basically, there's so many different style of homes. People prefer, a chalet, a bi-level, a ranch, colonials. There's so many different styles for different personalities, but every home has a soul, and it's where the life of a house and what maybe attracted that person in the first place.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan, like personal taste. I'm a big fan of kitchens. I always like to cook and prepare my own food, so I spend a lot of time. So it all depends on your clients, particular buyer's needs, that what they're looking for in a home.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be something as so small as this beautiful weeping willow that's in the front yard, like, oh wow, as a child I always wanted a house with a weeping willow, so this checked all the other boxes, locations, bedrooms, and it had this beautiful tree in the front. And that's so, as a real estate agent, we're going to take that information, we're going to see them, we're going to see them light up when they talk about this certain aspect of the house, and we're going to highlight that and leverage it, right? So that's so important, finding the soul of the house, that thing that really excited the sellers in the first place. Many times it will also excite,
it'll translate,
exactly, someone else. So that's very important, along with finding an agent. I think they also really should be trying to identify not only the skills and what the agent will bring to the table as far as their marketing and, their professional pictures, but also their network, right? What are they also bringing to the table? Because the selling process is more than just your interaction with your real estate agent, right?
Correct.
You have to have a good attorney, right? That's a big one as a seller. Being in the industry, me and Peter interact with attorneys left and right, real estate attorneys in particular, right? It's very important that they're doing real estate law. And the network of the real estate agent is very, very important. It makes the whole transaction a much more seamless process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You especially if you're working with a seller or buyer, but you want to alleviate as much stress as possible for your clients.
Yeah. And that's one of our goals, right? Like, that's what we set out to do, is to make the transaction as stressless as possible.
We both came from, a hospitality background. So to serve your clients, it's a very, very important aspect.
Yeah. And we're still very in touch with the emotional and sometimes intense process it could be to buy and sell a house. It's not a click of a mouse, not yet at least. And, and that's something that we're really in tune with. And I think a good agent should be in tune with that, that feeling of that, hey, this is an emotional process for the seller. And let's, our jobs also don't end with just selling a client's house. Many times we help them relocate, help them buy another house, help them rent if that's what they're looking to do, downsize, upgrade. So we're really invested in the process.
In addition to, it's like we're facilitating. We're wearing many different hats, and even things that maybe your client might not think you do. It's like, well, no, we're here to serve. It's just going above and beyond for our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we hope that some of this information was helpful for your, selling your home here in this market. The reality is the inventory is very low. So if you are interested in selling your house in this time, this kind of, I don't want to say it's not post-COVID time yet, but the reality is in this time, the market is very hot. There's a lot of buyers in the market, not a lot of sellers. So that makes the inventory low. It's supply and demand. So great time to get the most amount of money for your property. If you're on the fence about selling it, if you have questions, reach out to us. We'll help you out with it.
Yeah, shoot us a message. We're here for you. What do we have planned for today, Mr. Azim?
Yeah, a couple home inspections got going on, and we'll see how they go. I'm sure they'll be fine. Hopefully.
Fantastic.
How about for yourself?
I have a open house and my listing in Alamuchi, Panther Valley.
Excellent. So. Excellent. Well, good luck on that.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. And we'll be on next week with another episode. We'll see what that entails.
Absolutely. Tolga, good to see you, buddy.
As well. We'll see you soon, Peter.